Community leaders in Wilbraham are taking the lead to tackle the opioid addiction crisis. Tomorrow night at 7, there'll be a session at Minnechaug Regional High School with former NBA player Chris Herren. He'll share his frightening story of addiction, recovery, and his new life mission to save others from drugs. Connecting Point correspondent Carolee McGrath, who will be reporting for us all season, previews the event.
We've always had a great partnership with Wilbraham Rec, and so we recognize that drug prevention and intervention, that it really requires a community effort and a comprehensive approach. And so we were really excited when Wilbraham Rec brought this opportunity to us, and we're really happy to partner with them to bring it to our students and the parents of the district.
You know, when you think about Wilbraham, it's a small town, and you think about, it doesn't seem like the drug capital of the world by any stretch. Neither is Montague, which is another small town. Is this something that we still have to pay attention to in the smaller communities?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our experience is probably typical of most suburban communities. But we do regularly monitor and survey students on their substance use, and we know that we need to pay attention to those behaviors, particularly the most frequent behaviors, alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, because we recognize that when students engage in using those substances, that it might be the gateway to getting involved with the more serious substances that Chris Herren will talk to the students about next week.
And a lot of people will disagree with you on that. They'll say, no, that's not true. Alcohol, pot, that is not a gateway. Come on, but you say differently.
Yeah, I think so. It's a risky behavior that could lead to further risky behaviors, and that's something that we talk to students about from the earliest age. And so while we might not talk to young learners about substance use, we do talk to them about appropriate choices. We talk to them about problem solving, seeking out trusted adults, understanding that they matter, that they're part of a community that supports them. And so if we can encourage students to engage in appropriate choices and not make those risky choices, then we think down the road that they're going to be less likely to engage in the gateway behaviors that lead to the types of drugs that Chris will talk about.
The hard work I put in to be a basketball player, it didn't pay off in basketball, it paid off in this life. There's many people just like me. People can tell you the same story I can tell. I just have Celtics in it.
Now, Brian, you also had this set up so the kids will see it during the day in school, and then there's another possibility for people at night with the parents. Why was that so important to bring the parents in on this?
Again, a lot of the stuff that the high school teaches, obviously there's middle school students, a lot of our population, youth athletes, parents, we wanted to make sure that the parents can go and see Chris Herren speak and sort of see this great star athlete, had it all in his hands, and how he managed to reach the lowest of the lows and then come back from that, and again how no matter the demographics or who you are, it can happen to you, and for parents to be aware of some of the things that can transpire. I
think that's a good point, that it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, because he had everything. So this really crosses all lines, all different people, all walks of life, can really get caught up in this. You did see Chris Herren speak, and he's a dynamic speaker. And what was something that struck you?
One of the biggest things I took from it, I have 3 young daughters beginning to get involved in sports, and one of the things I took from it is he spoke about how when you have something that, an injury, an ankle injury, knee injury, whatever that might be, that you go to the emergency room, and one of the first things they prescribe for you is pain medicine, and that's just a dangerous path to go down because that leads into various different addictions, so to speak, and it really just resonated with me, having 3 kids and athletes and playing athletics my whole life, that from a parent perspective, to be cognizant of that and just be very aware of the dangers.
And Marty, this is part of a bigger, broader look for Wilbraham.
Absolutely, and I think we recognize that we don't prevent students from getting involved with illegal substances because of any one person's work or any one agency's efforts. It really requires everybody pulling at the same rope. And it's part of a comprehensive approach to prevention and intervention. So in the district, the Chris Herren presentation is a really important part of the puzzle, and it will raise awareness on a very, very important issue, but hopefully it's a way for us to engage parents and students in a really important conversation about how we can prevent and intervene when students do involve themselves with illegal drugs.
And you'll have other programs following up. So this is sort of a kickoff
Sure,
Well, not really
yeah.
a kickoff. I know you're already dealing with this, but this is sort of like a big part of that.
Absolutely, yeah. We have a, right now we're really fortunate to have a drug-free community coalition where we have partners from the community, religious organizations, business partners, civic partners, folks from the DA's office, folks from Wilbraham Public Health Department that are involved with us in a coalition that works to prevent and intervene around substance abuse and use. And so this fits really nicely into that wider framework. And then during the school day, of course, there are plenty of opportunities to talk to kids through physical education classes and health classes about substance use and about appropriate choices and all this, really, well, and a lot of it is at the school level is about building the types of habits that will hopefully prevent kids from making those bad decisions.
Brian, you mentioned that you played sports all your life. Your kids are playing sports. You're in charge of the sports in Wilbraham. You see a lot of these little kids and they grow up. Chris Herren had talked about being larger than life. He's this big shot athlete. So what do you say to the kid who's on varsity football, basketball? How do you kind of tell him, like, look, you're not larger than life. You gotta stay between the lines.
I think it's probably just parenting 101, whether you're rec director or a parent. I say more often than I'd like to my daughters, your actions have consequences, and whether you're the star athlete or you're just someone who's playing, rec basketball in the high school league or, third, fourth grade, that, again, your actions have consequences, and be careful. Doing something doing a weekend activity might lead to something that leads down the road like Chris Herren, and maybe you're not that as gifted of an athlete and have all the outs that Chris Herren did to be able to get back. And again, just your actions have consequences, be aware.
And last question, how do you encourage kids to come forward? Because we talked about this off camera, without being labeled a snitch.
Right.
You know something's going on, it's not right, but you're afraid to come forward.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's sort of that snitch mentality is something we're working to overcome, and really what it's about, again, is establishing positive adult connections and making sure kids feel like they have a trusted adult in the building that they can reach out to, whether it's a teacher, a counselor, an administrator, anybody in the building can be a trusted adult. And so when you have that strong sense of community, when you have that strong fabric, we feel like kids are going to be willing to come forward and say, hey, I'm concerned about a friend, I'm worried about this behavior that I'm involved with. And so it sort of stops becoming snitching and it becomes part of a good community decision that you're making.
All right, Brian, when is Chris coming again?
Be Thursday, October 15th, 7 p.m. at Minnechaug Regional High School.
All right, thank you both so much for joining us. It's an important topic.
Thank you.